still. Mine says off air.
Wow! Hey, that was awesome, Rob. Way to go! Hey, welcome to Rockinboxes Presents this week, and I'm gonna interview the great Rob Preuss, formerly of the Spoons, as well as Honeymoon Suite. He's a great artist. He's worked on Phantom of the Opera. He's also with Mamma Mia. Guys, give it up for Rob Preuss. Hey, welcome to the program, Rob. How you doing, buddy?
How you doing, John? Good to see you.
Good.
Live.
Wow, you know, we've been trying to connect for some time, and I'm going to tell you right now, I am so excited that you're here with me, and thank you very much for doing this.
We've been trying to do it for, it seems like years, but finally it's happening.
Exactly.
I guess, you know what, it has been years because over the last few years, like since we became friends on Facebook, we've sort of tried to connect. Like you were always like, you know, if I'm getting near Niagara Falls or something, let me know. We should try to get together. And there was a couple of things you were trying to put together that just never happened. And then we started talking about this like last fall, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like in November or something.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think maybe it was 2012. I don't know when I first asked you for your phone number. And I was like,
yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I remember that.
And then I called you up and you were like, I'm sorry, I'm busy and this and that. And you know what? It's okay. Hey, look, we're together now. And I'm excited again for
that's all that matters.
Yeah, this is great. So, you know, I just wanted to get into a little bit of what you've been doing lately. And, you know, I know you're working as a director, Mamma Mia, assistant director. Is that it? What's going on?
So I did Mamma Mia.
Yeah.
Mamma Mia. We finished doing Mamma Mia almost 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So how time flies. But I did the show for a long time. I started with the show in Toronto back at the turn of the century, back in the year 2000.
Right.
It's a long time ago. That's 17 years ago. So I did the show in Toronto for about a year. And then I came to New York with the show in 2001. And I did the complete run of the show here, and we closed in September of 2015. So it's been almost 2 years.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
So yeah. And then since I've been here in New York, I've done a couple other shows as well. I worked on a musical called Once, which ran in Toronto a couple of times as well. And it ran in Toronto last year, I think, or maybe a couple of years ago. It's all a blur now. But we did it here. We did it on Broadway. It was 5 years ago. And because the Tony Awards for Broadway just happened this past weekend, and 5 years ago we won all these awards and stuff. But yeah, it was five years ago that we did that show. And then I've been involved with it ever since. It actually just finished. The tour just closed a couple of months ago. So I've been involved with that as well.
Wow, that's incredible. So when you're doing these, you know, these orchestras, these when do you write? Do you help out? What do you do? What exactly does it all entail?
Well, with Mamma Mia, I was the musical director, assistant musical director, and the associate musical director, and the musical director.
Okay.
So basically, it's like I always considered it like the leader of the band.
Okay.
You know, because I played keyboard, and it was a 9-piece band. And I played the keyboard and conducted the cast, and sort of like, I always think of it as like Paul Schaefer on Letterman. You know, it's like you're leading the band, and we're all in it together in that way. So, and with Once, I was the supervisor. So the cast, the actors in the show all played the music, and I would just kind of help teach them the music, and then I would come and watch the show and give them notes on things to do differently or whatever, you know, that kind of stuff. It's like an actual supervisor.
Oh, wow, that's really cool. I'm just going to pause you for a moment because I've got the YouTube link for anybody that wants to do live chat and ask any questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to repost it, and I'll tag you in it, Rob, so you can post it as well. And just give me a moment to, I'm just going to bring it up on Facebook here. Obviously, yeah, let's do a little bit of a bridge. Yeah, that's great. All right. Go. All right. Perfect. Okay, so I tagged you in. And if
anybody
wants,
I timed my music perfectly.
That was awesome. Well, hey, you know, exactly how long have you been how long have you been a musician?
As long as I can remember.
Okay, that's
started playing piano when I started playing when I was 5.
Yeah, okay.
So I started taking piano lessons when I was 5. And I do have some still sort of vivid memories of that period. Not that period, but there's like moments in my life from that period that I do remember. Like I do remember one of the first times I went up to a piano and like touched it, because my memory is that the keyboard was like this high, like I was standing at it, and like the keyboard was almost at like my head level, you know.
You could barely reach it.
Could barely reach it. But my parents found me a teacher, so I started when I was 5.
Yeah.
And then I studied classically through into my teens until I was like 17. So I joined my first band when I was 10.
Right.
Continued to take piano lessons at the same time, but my piano lessons were strictly for doing classical kind of stuff, and the Royal Conservatory, and I would do like the graded examinations and stuff. But then at the same time, I would go home and play Elton John, and play like what I really wanted. I would go home and just play what I heard on the radio and stuff, you know.
And musical influences. Who were all of your influences? I know who they were because I did the research on you, but tell everybody your.
How well can you hear the piano?
We can hear. I can hear it well.
Okay, I'll play 2 of my biggest musical influences, and then you can guess who they were.
Okay. Freddie Mercury and Queen.
That's the first one. And then let's say the next second one, I'll say.
John.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I could play 1,000 Elton John.
What, that was Elton John?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah.
No, it was. I could play 1,000 Elton John intros. You know, the intros for Elton John are all so cool to me. They're all amazing. But yeah, I would say those Elton and Queen and whatever I heard on the radio that had a piano in it, that was like the thing I loved the most.
That's awesome. So essentially, way back when you were 15 years old, I'm sorry, I'm going to take you back a little bit.
Yeah.
You started with the Spoons.
Uh-huh.
How did that all happen? How did that all come about? I mean, Gordon and Sandy were, you know, they were together.
They were together. They were together, I think almost about a year before I joined the band. And so because they were from Burlington and I was from Burlington, I knew who they were. I knew of them because I was like really getting into new wave music and stuff. And I had heard, because my best friend who lived a couple doors down from me, his older brother knew the managers of the Spoons. So I kind of was in the know, and I heard about them, and I had heard a cassette of some of their music and stuff, but I'd never actually seen them because they had only done some gigs in Toronto. But I knew of them, and I saw them play a couple times before I joined the band. I remember it was the last day of school when I was in grade 10, I guess. And I went with my friend. We went to Hamilton, took a bus to Hamilton to see them opening for Martha and the Muffins. And so I kind of knew.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they did a show in Hamilton opening for them. And so I kind of knew who they were. And then their keyboard player quit the band, and Gord put an ad in the Hamilton Spectator looking for a keyboard player. And so I called him up and I auditioned, and I stayed.
That's amazing. So at the age of 15, I mean, you worked on, you know, the first album. What was the first official album? Because I've got the list.
Stick Figure Neighborhood.
And then
Stick Figure Neighborhood was the first album, and we recorded that. That was like a few months after I joined the band. I joined the band at the end of 1980. It was so long ago. My first performance with the band was the night John Lennon was murdered.
Oh,
so that's
wow.
That's my memory in terms of like the anniversary of John Lennon's death. It's also, right. I think it was the first show I ever played with the Spoons. We were playing at a club in Toronto called The Edge. And we were on a break from one of our sets. And the owners of the club got a call from New York saying, we just heard that John Lennon has been shot, but we don't know anything else. And then like 10 minutes later, they announced it on the radio because we were in the dressing room and they were playing the radio and they said, we just heard that John Lennon has died.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So off of that album, Nova Heart was the most, well, that was the first song off of that album, right?
No, that was off it was off the second album.
What, it was off Arias and Symphonies?
Yeah, well, it was done before. I was actually done before Arias and Symphonies. So we did the first album, and then we released it, and then we played a lot, did a bunch of shows. Like at that time, we were mostly playing a lot of colleges and universities and that kind of stuff because we were like an alternative band. And in those days, alternative was really alternative. Like you were not getting any radio. There was no radio station playing our music except for like colleges and universities. Oh. And so that summer that we released the album, it actually went to #1 on the alternative like college charts across Canada.
Right,
right. And so we decided that we wanted to do something that would potentially get us airplay on like pop radio and on top 40 radio. So we recorded Nova Heart, and I mean we recorded Nova Heart and a song called Symmetry, and that was our single that we did. And then so Nova Heart was actually a singular release, and it wasn't until a few months later that we went to record Arias and Symphonies.
Oh, right on. And also Old Emotions, that was off of that album as well.
No, that was off the next album. That was off our third album.
Well, okay, so then okay, so I've got the albums kind of backward forward here, or backward,
but probably only because the first album didn't really have a single. So I mean, really, as far as like the mainstream, nobody really knew us until maybe we did Nova Heart. I mean, kids who were in college and then were in university would have known us from the first album. And I still love it when some people say that our first album is their favorite, because to me it's like mysterious, because it's a little bit like Talking Heads and a little bit like Genesis and a little bit like progressive rock mixed with new wave together, and I think it's super cool.
Oh, right. Okay. So then Listen to the City had Romantic Traffic, Old Emotions, and not Old Emotions.
It just had Romantic Traffic and Tell No Lies.
And Tell No Lies. Okay. All right. Okay. So I just wanted to get that straight for everybody watching.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Romantic Traffic and Tell No Lies, we recorded with Nile Rodgers here in New York. We did those songs after we did the album Talkback. And then our record company in America wanted us to record a couple more songs as potential singles. So we came back to New York and we did Romantic Traffic and Tell No Lies. But we had already released Talkback in Canada. So the record company put those two songs onto the soundtrack for Listen to the City. It's all very confusing when you deal with the record industry.
Okay. So yeah, exactly. It's just when you read some of the stuff on the internet, it's not fully, it doesn't explain it. I go back and I looked at the Wikipedia, I was like, what? That's okay. Yeah, so now you've explained it. Okay.
I know, it's very confusing. And it's funny when I look at Wikipedia pages and things like that, I don't have a Wikipedia page myself, but I keep thinking I should like do one and like put a listing of all the things I've done. But apparently you can't do them yourself. Like you have to have somebody do them for you, because it's not supposed to be like a personal thing. So I'm going to have like a friend or somebody do it for me.
Right.
And then I'll get all the information in order.
Yeah. When I was looking up all the albums, they were, all the songs that I have written down were pretty much in that order of how the album.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. At least you clarified it for everybody.
Yeah, totally. Sure.
Set the record straight. So now we're going to move on to the Bridges Over Borders. Now, I found it funny that when you did the transition when you went from the Spoons into the Honeymoon Suite, that the Bridges Over Borders was a real it was funny. It was a funny title to hear, because Bridges Over Borders, there goes our Rob Preuss. He's gone. He's gone into the Honeymoon Suite.
I was gone. I know.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't on that album. But Gordon Sandy used one of my keyboards for one of the songs. And actually, I guess I co-wrote a song on the album as well, because there was all the songs that they did on Bridges Over Borders a lot of them were songs that we had been developing in the last couple of years that I was still in the band, when Derek and I were still in the band. Right. So then when we left and Scott and Steve joined the band, Gordon Sandy continued to use the songs that we had been working on. And there was one song that they used one of my keyboards for, and that I co-wrote an earlier version of one of the songs. So I was still kind of connected to it, but not really. So.
Okay. All right. I see. So, but you got what was it? A credit for writing something?
Yeah, that's right. On the song "Bridges Over Borders," right?
Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to just touch on the people that are watching. Dean Hayes says CFNY played Spoons, the original Pirates of Radio in Canada.
Of course, totally.
Yeah.
Hi, Dean.
And sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to say hi to Dean.
Yeah. Hey, Dean. And we all know Dean's story. He's going through a lot right now. He's a great guy.
Totally.
And someone was asking, how was it working with Nile Rodgers?
It was amazing. We were really lucky working with him because he was just in the beginning stages of like becoming the super producer that he is. And when we worked with him, he had just done Let's Dance for David Bowie. And he saw us. Yeah, he saw us play in New York opening for Culture Club because we did Culture Club's US tour.
Right.
And we did, I forget how many cities in America. I think we did like 21 cities or something. And he saw us play in New York. He came to see us play, and he was at the show with Sting and with Steve Winwood apparently. But I didn't meet any of them I didn't meet Niall until later. But he saw us play, and then he approached our record company, and he sort of asked about us and stuff. And they thought, hey, this might be a really cool combination. But he was really great. So we really trusted him to kind of help kind of guide us into the world that he's used to in terms of arranging songs and producing and stuff. And so it was a really, really good combination. And I learned so much from him. I learned things from him in the studio that I still think of to this day, as far as like musically and arranging ideas.
Oh wow, that's really cool. Also, Niall, he loved Derek's drumming.
Yeah.
Drum machine duplication. So the question is, why did he leave?
Why did Derek leave? Well, Derek and I left at the same time. We both left at the same time. It was early in 1986, and we both left. I just kind of felt like it was time to move on, I guess, in a way, and so that's what it was.
And you're still good friends with Gord and Sandy. I mean, if they have ever asked
totally.
You.
Oh my God, yeah. We've done shows over the years. I mean, few and far between, but since the first time I played with them again in this new 21st century was in 2000. It wasn't until like 2010, I think. So because I had moved to New York. So I've been living in New York since 2001. So the first time we actually played together again, I think was 2010. They were doing a gig in Toronto and I was in town and I came and played like 4 songs with them or something. And then I played with them again in 2012. We planned a show together. And then in 2014. So it was almost like every 2 years, but then we didn't do one in 2016. But so we're overdue to do something together.
Oh yeah, that would be amazing. Definitely want. I'd love to come to the show. I've tried to get out. I did go to the Hockey Hall of Fame whenever they did the.
Did you? Oh, cool.
Yeah, that was really amazing. Nice. And I was hoping you would be here, and I didn't know that they had the keyboardists and whatnot, but that's okay. I mean, my son and I, we really enjoyed having, we were backstage with Gord and Sandy, and they were really nice to us.
Oh, cool.
And I'll tell you something really funny. In walked the 4 Hall of Famers. What was it? Pavel Bury and I can't remember Matt Sundin and the 2 other guys. I can't remember at the moment. But anyway, it was really funny. All 4 of them walked in, and we had VIP passes to go see everything after, up and hang out with the players and whatnot. And not one of them came to the VIP thing. And I was like, well, at least I got all these years.
That's amazing. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
So we're moving on to Honeymoon Suite, and you traveling the world and hanging out with really great musicians. I mean, I've been a Honeymoon. I'm obviously all around it. Frozen Ghost.
Sure.
The Spoon Suite. All the even all those.
Oh my God! You know what? I love II. So do you know the history of II? They were from Burlington as well, and they used to be a band called the Onos. Yeah. And so before I joined the Spoons, the 2 new wave bands in Burlington were the Onos and Spoons. And I was obsessed with both of them because I knew Michael Dana. Michael Dana was the keyboard player in the Onos. And I knew Mike
Okay.
because I played in a band with his brother Jeff. When we were like 11 and 12 years old, we were in a band together. And Mike had all his keyboards in the basement of the house, and I would go down there, and he had like serious keyboards. Like he had a Mellotron and just the coolest synthesizers and stuff. And so I would go down there and just be in awe of everything that was happening. So when they put their band together, the Onos, I was like in love with that band. And I saw them open at Hamilton Place. They opened for XTC. And that was in the...
Oh, XTC,
yeah. It was in the spring of 1980, I believe. And that's actually the first time that I met Gordon Sandy. So I went to Hamilton Place to see XTC with the Onos, and Gordon Sandy were there, and their old keyboard player, Brett Witkins, as well. So that was the first time I met them all. And I was so nervous meeting them. It was like meeting like true, rock gods for me. So anyways, the Onos, Onos became II. That's my Onos story.
It's funny because if you look at Bill Wood now, he's got Bill and the Woodies. Or what is it? Yeah. Yep. And I was talking to him, and I said, hey, we'd love for you to come on and we have a little interview about your, stint with II and everything like that. And, just all these synthesizer bands, like even when you think of like, I'll Kiss You When It's Dangerous by, oh my gosh, Rob, help me out. Kiss You When It's Dangerous by 8 Seconds. You remember?
Yep, of course. Oh, you froze. Frozen Ghost. Hold on. That's you. Wait, where's me?
So let me go check out some of the things that you guys are seeing actually on YouTube. And Haley, hi Haley, Dean, how's it going? Let's see, Jeff Healy was there, Tom Cochran, Honeymoon Suite, Northern Pikes. Okay, I will mention that for sure, Dean. I know. Hey, Rob, are you back?
I'm back.
Sometimes
are you back?
These things. Yeah, I'm back. You were frozen there for a moment. I just had to
so were you.
a little bit. I was. Oh, geez, we were both frozen. So essentially, I was talking about all these synth bands like for Fears, as well as like 8 Seconds. Remember 8 Seconds when they came out with Kiss You When It's Dangerous? One hit wonder, but I mean, just the sound of the first, you had it on your Facebook earlier, Head Over Heels, or Broken from the Big Chill, and I commented, oh man, every time I hear the but before that, with the beginning of that song by
hold on. Wait.
Oh, there we go. Okay, that's Marty Feldman, by the way, folks. Rob, he's going through a drastic change. So, in any event, yeah, all these big bands that were out there. Are you there? That's okay.
I can hear you sound like Max Headroom now. Yeah,
I know. It sometimes this thing goes all funky. I was gonna say, can you hear me?
Hold on. No, kind of.
Okay, no problem. If you have to go out, you can go out and re-click on the link on your email. Oh, there you are.
Hey, there you are.
Okay. Hey, there you are.
Amazing. You sounded like Max Headroom for a second. It was like all like jerky computer stuff. It was really cool.
Woo! Welcome back to the future, Max Headroom.
Right?
Can I get you a Pepsi?
Totally.
So anyway, could you talk a little bit about your experience again with Racing After Midnight, being on that album, and all the songs were amazing. The song was amazing. And Lethal Weapon, and go ahead.
So Lethal Weapon was the first song I recorded. Was it? Yeah, it was the first song I recorded with the band. I joined the band while they were in the middle of the Big Prize tour.
Right.
So they were on the road. They were doing lots of, crisscrossing America and Canada, and they were playing with a lot of different bands. And then Ray left the band, and they had a little bit of a break, and they did a bunch of auditions. And so I auditioned for the band at that point. And then I got to join the band. Although Johnny always used to joke and bug me. He's like, we didn't actually tell you you're in the band yet. But meanwhile, I'd been in the band for like 2 months. But he kept joking about it. I was like, I guess I'm in the band because I'm in the back of the tour bus with you, and we're like in Michigan. So things seem to be working okay.
Yeah.
But the first show I did with them was opening for Journey in Kansas City.
Oh, great.
Which was ridiculous. So because I learned all these songs, their tour manager called me to audition, and he listed off like 12 or 13 songs, and he said, these are the songs the guys are doing in, you know, these are the songs in the set lately. They change them around, but these are the songs. So learn like 5 songs or 6 songs, and then come to audition, and you'll just play with the boys, and we'll see how it goes. So I got really inspired, and I thought, I'm going to learn all of these songs when I go to audition. So I learned all 13 songs. I spent like a mad weekend practicing and programming all my keyboards and getting to know it all. And then when I went to the audition, I just said, what do you want to play? And I just went song after song after song after song. So they said, okay, you can come with us. So the first show was with Journey. So that first fall that I was with them was crazy, because we were right on the road playing with Journey. We played with Starship. We did some shows with Starship. We went to Japan. And then it was the Juno Awards, where we won the Juno Award for Group of the Year. Yep. So it was like this whirlwind thing. And I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. Like, I'm hanging on for dear life with this rolling machine. It was super cool.
Yeah.
So we got into the new year, and our management got a call that they wanted us to record the title track for this film, Lethal Weapon. The song was already written, and they wanted us to come down to LA to work with the producer, who was one of the executives at Warner Brothers. His name was Ted Templeman.
Right.
And Ted was like an amazing, so I didn't really, I guess I knew his name when I learned what he did. But when they first said Ted Templeman, I was like, okay. But then I realized, oh, he produced every Van Halen album, and he produced all the Doobie Brothers albums, and he worked with Van Morrison, and his track record of the things he did was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I was super excited to go down. So that was actually the first song I recorded with the band. Here, wait, I'll play a little bit. Where's Johnny?
Ready? When you lose your love.
Keep going.
You make life grow. It tears you apart, your heart and soul. All the lies that you've gone to see how when love can become a lethal weapon.
You sound really good.
You sound amazing.
Huh?
You sound awesome. That's so amazing.
You sound good. So it was really cool. So we flew down to LA, and we got to meet the director of the film, Richard Donner, and they gave us a screening of the film just to kind of see what we were getting into. And then we went in the studio with Ted for just a couple of, like, probably 2 or 3 days at the most. And we laid it down pretty quickly. They had a demo of the song already. The song was written by Michael Kamen, who did the score for the whole film. And I believe it was co-written by Eric Clapton as well, but we didn't see either of them. But we had a demo of the song, and we worked through it. And it was sort of like a test for our relationship with Ted as well, to see if we wanted to continue working with him. And so we decided we'll do a whole album with him. So that summer, this was 30 years ago. It was the summer of '87, only 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So we flew back to LA, and we spent a couple of months living in Los Angeles, and we recorded Racing After Midnight with Ted. And in the meantime, between recording Lethal Weapon and going back to LA, Johnny and Derry and I were holed up in a rehearsal studio in the East End of Toronto. And every day we would go in there. It was like an office. We'd go in there, and we worked on all the songs and worked on the different ideas. And we ended up co-writing a bunch of the songs together. Johnny and Derry and I co-wrote, I think, like 3 or 4 of the songs on the album.
Yeah.
Derry's definitely the main writer in the band. And then Johnny really made a lot of contributions. And then I sort of stuck my nose in for a few songs as well. But it was super fun, because between the 3 of us, we just worked it all out, you know?
Oh yeah, that's awesome. I'm gonna pause you there for a moment, because there's a lot of people that are talking to you, and they wanted to know, that you have RJ Anderson says, "Hey Rob, it's been a few years."
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
Becky Anderson.
You got
my old neighbor.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
That's Becky's. I mean, RJ Anderson is my old neighbor. We grew up together.
There you go. Yeah, and it's Lee R says, "You need to write a memoir, Rob."
I know. I'm taking notes. I've been taking notes for a long time.
And there's a lot of people out there that are just saying, you know, wait, Rob, which Broadway show you enjoyed working on more, Once or Mamma Mia?
Well, they were very different. I mean, the Mamma Mia experience was like nothing I've ever done in my life, and I feel so fortunate to have done it. I mean, I played with Mamma Mia 3 times longer than the time I was in the Spoons, practically. And I think of the time I spent with the Spoons, it was 5 years of like concentrated writing and recording and touring and promotion, and just, you know, it feels like a lifetime because it's still with me in that same way. And then Honeymoon Suite, I was really with them for like a total of about 3 years, I guess. It felt like 10 years as well, because the same thing, you know, it's an intense amount of working together. Sorry, my dog just like knocked over a cable on my computer. But then when I came to do Mamma Mia, I had already been playing musical theater in Toronto for many years, and to have that experience of like playing with an orchestra and working with musicians together in a live experience constantly, it's like constantly a brand new thing. But as far as playing a show, once I never got to play the show. So I was there in the beginning helping to put the show together, and that was a very creative part of the process, was listening to the actors and helping sort of refine what they were doing and stuff like that.
Right.
But with Mamma Mia, I was actually like in the band. So I got to play those ABBA songs. I mean, how many bazillions of times did I play? You know, like it's like I feel like I wrote the song. If only I had like a half of a percentage point of the writing of that song, I'd be a happy guy. But I'm happy anyways because I got to play those songs.
Right.
So I would definitely say Mamma Mia is probably my favorite show. Mind you, Phantom of the Opera still holds a place in my heart as well, because it was the first show I really played as well. And I've been working on that show again here on Broadway in the last 6 months or so. And it's really fun to come back to it because I first played the show, well, like in that promo thing that you put together, that was like 1989.
Yeah.
Or 1990 or something. So it's so long ago. So to come back to it after all the years of experience that I've had doing all the other shows and just learning so many things about theater and music directing and stuff, to come back to Phantom is really fun as well. But it's still not the same as Mamma Mia. Mamma Mia is like a rock and roll show in that way. So
yeah, for sure. And did you get to meet any ABBA like any of the ABBA band? Like, did they ever?
Oh yeah, sure. Benny and Bjorn were with us in Toronto a lot, because when we started in Toronto, the show was brand new, and they had only been running in London for almost a year at that point. And honestly, the creators, they came to Toronto before they came to America, because we as Canadians, we're like the perfect middle ground between what's happening in London, what's happening in America. We got a little bit of both worlds, right? And so I think they felt like it was a good testing ground to come to Toronto. And Benny and Bjorn were both there quite a lot. And they were kind of excited to see the show coming together with a new production. And so I spent a lot of time with them. And with Benny, I like got to ask him little tips on like how to play Waterloo and stuff like that. You know, it was really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I dragged him up one day. We were in rehearsals, and I dragged him up to the conductor's dressing room, and I was like, "Just show," because I was playing Waterloo, and we were the first cast to do the show, because in London they didn't do Waterloo, but when they came to Toronto, they decided that they should put it in the show at the very end, because the audience kept asking for it, and it was really ABBA's first big hit. So I was playing like. And I kind of like tried to do it, but I still wanted to ask Benny and just say, you know, give me some tips on how to play the song. And he's like, it's good. You know, what you're doing is really good. So yeah, I thought that was a good sign.
How many people actually get up in the aisles and dance at the shows? A lot of people?
14,200. No, I don't know. I mean, each they were dancing in the aisles.
Yeah. Now, compared to the rock shows and what you did earlier time, you know, with the Spoons and whatnot, what would you say was most exciting? Would you say the Mamma Mia compared to Honeymoon Suite, or compared to the Spoon? Like,
well, it's all really, I mean, it's all really different, you know? Yeah, okay. And I would say each experience sort of has its own excitement in its own way. Because like sometimes I think of like doing the recordings that we did with the Spoons and with Honeymoon Suites, and even like recent things that I've done with Carol Pope as well.
Yes.
And I feel like that stuff is just as cool as like the fact that I played Mamma Mia 10 bazillion times for, you know, however many million people came to New York to see the show. Each experience holds its own sort of special memories, I guess. So
yeah,
I can't really choose one over the other because they all sort of blend together in a way. And that for me.
Absolutely. Now you mentioned Carol, and for all of y'all that don't know, Carol Pope is amazing. She's a great artist as well. Rob,
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure where is she in New York or is she in Toronto?
She's in Los Angeles.
There you go. She's in LA.
But she's actually in New York right now this week. And I think she was just in Toronto. I think she just did a gig in Toronto, maybe at the art gallery or something. I saw her on Facebook. So she sort of splits her time up a lot between Toronto and New York and LA.
So you want to talk about your projects with her and what you've done?
Yeah. So we first met here in New York, and we both moved to New York around the same time, I think, sometime in 2001.
Yeah.
And I actually ran into her one day in a store in like downtown in New York. So I was in this store and I saw her. I was like just like bumming around, you know, and I walked into the shop and there she was, and I was like, hey, that's Carol Pope. And I figured, like, you know, nobody was saying anything, and people around me, like the Americans, were just, you know, people just go about their business. Like, you see people everywhere here all the time anyways, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
But I went up to her and I said, hey, Carol, you know, and I had met her years and years before. And I said, you know, you might not remember me, but I used to play with the Spoons, and we met at like an awards, like at the CFNY Uno Awards or one of those, or the Juno Awards or one of those things. And she's like, oh, sure, I remember you. But I mean, she probably didn't remember me exactly, but she knew our band, of course. And so I just said, hey, you know, I'm in New York and you're in New York, and if you ever want to hang out and, you know, just whatever, then here's my number. And that was it. I mean, in the old days before, you know, this was really before like the cell phones we have today. You're still like actually giving somebody your phone number. So I gave her my number, and like a couple weeks later, she called me and she's like, hey, you want to hang out or you want to, you know, do something? So we just sort of became friends really slowly in New York. And at some point we just decided to like maybe try to work on some music. I was like totally nervous to work on some music with her, but she was really cool. Like, she, you know, eventually I think the first thing we worked on together, there was a tribute to Joni Mitchell that was happening, and they were having all these different performers.
Right.
It was like a day-long tribute. So Carol asked me to play with her, and so we got together and we played 2 Joni Mitchell songs at this concert.
Oh, nice.
And it was super cool. And I don't even know if there's any recordings of it or anything, but I learned these songs. We did Raised on Robbery, and we did this Joni song called Down to You, which was on Court and Spark, I believe. It's a super cool song with like real orchestral arrangements and stuff. And so I learned it all on piano and did this arrangement of it. And then at some point we decided to just like try to work on songs together. She was working on some new recordings. And we ended up, the first song we really co-wrote together was a song called Landfall. And she wanted it to be a duet with Rufus Wainwright. And she'd been trying to get Rufus to sing with her for ages.
Right.
Finally, she nailed him down, and we did the song. And so she and I co-wrote the song, and I wrote a string arrangement, and I played bass on it. And I think I mean, out of all the songs that I've been involved with, it's still one of my favorites. And I still think it's sort of like a hidden gem because it hasn't gotten a lot of like airplay, or I don't think she did a real video for it, but I'm still holding out hope that it'll happen because I still think it's a beautiful song.
Well, if you need any editing done, I'm in.
You're the man.
Yeah.
Wait, I'll play a little bit of the intro. It goes like this. If you haven't heard the song, it's super cool because Rufus Wainwright came in to sing with us. We booked a recording studio and we went in and we laid down. So the first thing we did was I recorded the piano, and Carol laid down a vocal because it was hard to get Rufus Wainwright's time, right? We're like, oh my God, okay, we've got him for 2 hours on this afternoon, so we got to get this shit together. So we booked the studio, really good studio downtown, and we went in and I laid down the piano. Carol laid down her vocal, and then Rufus came in. And he was amazing because he laid down his vocal and then he gave us a bunch of harmonies and stuff. And then we basically finished it after he left. So it was kind of cool.
Right. So quickly, I have a couple more things. So if there's anybody out there that wants to ask Rob any quick questions, we're going to wrap it up a little bit here. I just wanted to touch on a couple of things with Rob. Some of the things that he did back in 1985. There was a show in Toronto called Toronto Rocks.
Oh yeah.
John Majors had went on vacation at the studio, and him and Gordon Depp were. Gordon Depp was the lead singer of the Spoons, and he still is. They're still currently going, the Spoons.
Yeah.
You two were in the studio, shenanigans wise, and doing whatever. And it was really funny because if you watch the old footage, you guys can go back on YouTube and look up Rob Preuss and Gordon Depp, Toronto Rocks.
With my hair like this.
Yeah, and yeah, and that's funny because Rob had really like wild hair, and it was a 1980s thing, but. In any event, it was so funny. Every time you did the introduction of a song, you reached over him and you were touching the button for to start the video. And was that just something that you guys were doing for fun? Do you remember the time? Do you remember it?
I do. Oh yeah, it was because they had a whole fake set, right? That looked like a control room sort of. Yeah. And John Major had this thing where he'd look like he was going to put in the VHS tape to play the tape. And it was so hokey. And I couldn't, so I mean, I had to do the same things that he did, right? So yeah, it was like, ooh, here comes the video, get ready. And then you had to put it in. So now, that's what it was.
Now, what's your thoughts about JD Roberts going to, he was on what, CB, was it NBC? Which one? He was an anchor.
Well, I think, was he on CNN?
Was it CNN? I think so.
And then CBS, but I think he's gone to Fox News, hasn't he?
Has he gone to Fox?
I think so. He's gone to the dark side.
Is it all the fake media over there now? Is that what they're saying?
Well, I don't know how fake it is, but I heard that Fox has taken away their tagline, fair and balanced. That they're taking it away because they don't have to pretend they're fair and balanced anymore. Something like that. I don't really know what the story is.
It's so funny because you'll post stuff about you'll be like, yeah, I'm so sick of the politics today, or I'm so sick of hearing politics, whatever. Let's listen to some music, and you'll put up a great video on your Facebook wall. I love it.
I gotta keep it happy sometimes, right?
Oh yeah, gosh, there's so much.
I mean, it's so tempting for all of us to just post like really pissed off, paranoid bullshit. But I think we all feel that. But then sometimes I'm like, okay, I've had enough of this, so now I'm gonna go back and post like a Barry Manilow video or something.
Exactly.
Something that makes me feel happy. I remember like 4 bars of every song I've ever heard in my whole life. And that's about it.
That's funny. Debbie Salisbury.
Where's Debbie?
She's on. She's just in the comment section. She's asking if you could play Camera Shy a little bit.
Of course. Yes. Debbie is a good friend of mine from Burlington.
All right.
So there's a bunch of us that get together, and every time I'm in Burlington, we try to get together. And I had my iPhone with me, and I had my little keyboard, and I was trying to like play some tunes and stuff. And they always ask me for Camera Shy. They love Camera Shy. And Camera Shy was like a song that we never really played live too much, I guess. And I'm not really sure why. But so it's Patrick's favorite song, and it's Debbie's favorite song, and it's Karen's favorite song. And it's Laura's favorite song as well. And so they always ask me to play it. But it's not like, without actually Gord singing it, it's a little boring.
Oh.
Because there's like a keyboard that goes, well, the bass is cool. It goes, can you hear the bass when I play the piano? And actually, it's a little bit like the Honeymoon Suite song that I co-wrote, "Love Changes Everything."
Oh,
it's not really, but I co-wrote. I don't think I co-wrote Camera Shy. No, maybe I didn't. But "Love Changes Everything" goes.
Love changes everything.
Right?
Yeah.
Camera Shy goes. You've been camera shy.
That's It's so amazing. Wow.
I mean, there's only 12 notes, so there's only so much you could actually play, anyways.
Right.
I'm sure it all got stolen from like Beethoven and Mozart, anyways.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let me see. I need him to. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I'll talk to you after the show about that one. Debbie says, "Thanks, RP."
You're welcome, Debbie.
But
Debbie's favorite song is The Rhythm. So that's another Spoon song. And it was a good song, but I always got a little bored playing it live. I'm not sure why, because it's a good song.
Right.
But it was just like, it wasn't my favorite song to play live. I always had favorite songs that I like to listen to and songs I like to record and songs I like to play. And The Rhythm was not on really any of those lists, but it's a good song.
Right.
Let's see if I can remember it. Anyways, that's for Debbie.
That's for Debbie. Debbie says, no problem. My sister wants to say that growing up, she was a huge Honeymoon Suite fan, and she got me out to Kingswood Music Theater.
Cool.
I think it was during Racing After Midnight. I'm not sure, but
yeah, that was the summer of '88. I remember it well.
Yeah, right. And we were at the show, and it was like totally amazing. It was, oh my gosh, in that open air theater, it was really. I remember the Spoon show back in Ontario Place.
Yeah, and the Forum was amazing, right?
The Forum was great. Oh my gosh, what an awesome thing.
I know.
But can you do me a favor? We want you to, if you could, for my sister, Feel It Again.
Wait a minute, I gotta get the right sound. It's not gonna sound so good over this little speaker anyways, okay. But are you gonna sing it?
Yeah. If you would just be sensible. I can't go that high because he's so high.
Johnny's voice is so high, right?
Yeah, on that one. Around incomplete, ain't so long. Feel it again. Oh, that heart will never mend. Feel it again. I would love to jam with you. We should
totally jam. We should totally jam, but like in the same room, right?
Yes, in the same room. Absolutely. When you come up here, let's do it.
We'll totally do it. Those Honeymoon Suite songs are so good.
Oh my gosh, there's so many great ones. Was it Ray Coburn that did that one, or was it
Ray? Yeah, Ray wrote "Feel It Again," and he wrote another song on the Big Prize, which was like when I first joined the band, I was obsessed with this song called "Lost and Found," which he wrote as well.
Oh.
Come on.
Let me out, tear me loose. Yeah, I can't remember all the words right now. Yes. Oh my God.
Oh, it's great. I can play the songs for hours.
Oh yeah. So, what is your favorite Honeymoon Suite album?
Racing After Midnight. No.
No, come on. You've got to have a good.
Well.
Really? What? I mean, other than Racing After Midnight. Okay. No Racing After Midnight.
Well, I'm sort of partial to the Big Prize.
Okay.
Because that was sort of the transitional moment when I realized that it would be really cool to join the band.
Yeah.
And so I listened to those songs really closely to learn the songs.
Okay.
And so I feel like I would go to listen to the Big Prize when I want to like remember how cool they sound, because the production is fantastic on that album as well. And so like if I listen to Racing After Midnight, I love it in a way because I'm on the record and I can listen to it and remember what it was like in the studio and like all the different changes that we made and all that kind of stuff. So I listen to that from more of a technical side. But I just put on the Big Prize and I just think, man, this is so cool. I'd love to play with these guys. And then I did. Oh, how about this?
Ready?
Sing it.
Two of us, one of a kind combination. Days by. Why do I get a feeling from you? Things ain't right. You need something new. More than need us a little to get. If I could grow wings, I would do anything.
I went right to the end of the song. Went right to the key change.
Oh yeah, and
the Barry Manilow key change.
Oh yeah, and you know what's really funny about that? I love One Crazy Summer with John Cusack and Demi Moore.
Yeah, right.
And that was the end song of it. Oh my God.
Oh, I know. Right, and then there was a movie that I don't think I ever actually saw. The movie called The Wraith. That there was a song that Honeymoon Suite recorded called "Those Were the Days." Which Ray also wrote, and that was the song that when we went to Japan, we represented Canada in the World Popular Song Festival, which was this thing that Yamaha did, and we played that song, and we won a couple of awards, like I don't remember what the things were, songwriting award or something, but it was Ray's song, and it was in this movie called The Wraith, which I think was starring Demi Moore.
Yeah, I remember that. Jeez. And then also Wounded.
Oh, it was a cool song.
Well, you know who I interviewed was Adolfo Quinones, who also played in Miami Vice. He did some dancing. He's a great dancer.
Oh, wow.
In Breaking 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And Miami Vice, when I was like, Wounded. Oh, yeah, that's right. It was in Miami Vice. Wounded.
Okay, I just remembered it. Wait, it goes, I don't remember the verse, but the chorus goes, oh, yeah.
Got down again. Wounded, dropped in my heart, and I just can't think no pain.
Right.
Wounded, got down again.
And there was a piano solo. Then I had to learn this piano solo that Ray played. I don't remember it.
Amazing, amazing. So, how do you want to? Well, I mean, wow, we've gone on. I was just going to go through here quickly, and I think everybody's pretty much said what they want to say. Oh my gosh, we're down the list here of since Debbie Salisbury. Holy smokes!
No, really?
Yeah, there's so many people talking here. There are a lot of friends of mine that are on, and let's see. Did you already talk about Lethal Weapon? Yes, we already talked about Lethal Weapon. The sax in that session. Okay, great. So Rob, can you do us a favor? No, it's okay. Somebody asked. They said they would love to throw a sax in our session.
I would love a sax too.
Do you have a foundation? Or I know you've given money to certain. You have a school or something, or is it you that has a? Did you give money to a school for music, or I read somewhere about that?
Nope.
I'm not sure. If I'm putting you on the spot, don't worry about it. I thought there was, yeah, I thought I read that you gave some money to a school or something. The Rob Preuss School of Music.
There should be, but there's not. Not yet, anyways. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, no, the Rob Preuss School of Music. I think, you know what? That was it. I don't know where I read that.
I don't know either. Yeah, no, that's okay.
If I find it, I'll send it to you private, and you'll be like, "What?"
No, I don't have a school of music. I have my wife and I have some. We do some classes with kids here in Queens, in New York.
Okay.
Which I love, and so we do like musical theater kind of stuff with kids, and it's so fun to take kids who are like between the ages of like 7. Are they 7 even? Yeah, I guess some of the little kids that come in are like 7 years old, up till maybe 11 or 12. And we do these classes with them, and we teach them songs, like theater songs, singing and dancing, and it's really fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
Super inspiring to just see kids having a chance to come and do stuff like that. Yeah, I love it.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's great.
So, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's all. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, is there anybody you want to say anything to, and anybody you want to say hello, and if there's where people can find you and what you've got coming up project-wise?
Well, I've got a couple of projects right now that are in the works, but I can't really say specifically about them yet. And I'm not like they're they haven't been officially announced yet.
Okay.
So I can't really talk about them. But there's a couple things I'm working on that I'm very excited about. And one of them involves some live stuff up in Canada. Another one is like a film project that I'm working on that is probably like quite a ways away, but I've started doing this work on this thing, which is super cool. But it's very cagey to even talk about it, so I can't really say much about it. But I guess most of us find each other on Facebook these days, and so I'm on Facebook and like Instagram,
Twitter.
I don't know. Yeah, Twitter too. Although Twitter is sort of weird. I sort of find that like when I put stuff on Twitter, it's either something I put on Facebook that goes automatically onto Twitter, and I don't often do things like directly onto Twitter. But I love Twitter for just kind of keeping up with news and stuff, right? So
right. All right.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you very much for being on my show this week, and
You're welcome.
Finally connected.
I know.
Totally amazing. And I've loved you since I was, growing up. You're not that. You're just a year older than myself. And
oh no, I'm a few years older.
No. I was okay. You're a few years older.
Yeah, a few years. No, we figured it out. No, so I'm 5 years older.
Oh, okay, there we go. All
right.
But
it's our generation. It doesn't matter. We're all,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Would you kindly do a little something that you love the most and bring us out? And I'll just say thank you to everybody for joining us. Like I always say on my vlogs and my videos, you guys be good to one another. And I love you guys. And thank you, Rob Preuss, for being on.
Thank you, Sean. It's amazing.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, and
I was just gonna say thanks. I'm so glad we finally got to put it together, and we should do it again.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We'll do it just after the summer, and we'll see how things are going. And
totally.
Yeah, absolutely. This is great. And like I always say again at the end of my vlogs, hit the music.
Hit the music.
Thanks, guys. Bye.